Marriage is God's original idea. God ordained marriage for his supreme purpose. God created man in his own image and likeness and had a vertical relationship with him. And the same God said in Genesis chapter 2 verse 18, it is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him a helper meet for him. In other words, a suitable life partner. I will make that for him. And so in verse 21 of Genesis chapter 2, God caused a deep sleep to fall on Adam, and he opened his side and took one rib. And with that rib, he made a woman. The interesting thing is that in Genesis chapter 1, God said to himself, everything God created we see, he spoke to the source. When God wanted fishes, he spoke to the sea. He wanted vegetation, he spoke to the earth. When it came to man, God never said, let there be man. God spoke to himself, he addressed himself. He said, let us make man according to our image and likeness. And so Genesis 1:26 and verse 27, God made man in his image and likeness. And in that man was trapped a male and a female. So the Bible says, male and female created he them. And that is God's precedence. And he made a man and a woman, or a male and a female. In the beginning, God did not create Adam and Adamu, nor did he create Eve and Eva. He created Adam and Eve. But the man he created was inside, the male and female he created was inside. They were trapped inside that entity called man. In Genesis 1:26-27, it tells us God created man in his image and likeness, but the man God created in his image and likeness was not physically existent on earth. Yes, when you go to chapter 2, verse 7 of Genesis, it tells us that God caused that, God came to the dust of the earth. He came and formed the clay, the house in which the body we see. He formed the dust of the earth into a clay, and he breathed into its nostrils the breath of man, and man became a living being. So the man that God had created, comprising male and female, was resident in God himself. God created, but he was with him. He had not brought it out, but he now looks for a tabernacle or a body, a physical body that will help the man to operate on this earth. And that was the clay, the dust of the earth. And he breathed into the nostrils of that clay the man that he had created beforehand. And so man became a living soul. So down there, back to the same point, verse 18, God said it's not good that a man should be alone. The entity called man had male and female species inside. So I'm bringing them out. And so he caused a deep sleep to follow man. And he made a woman and brought the woman to the man. And Adam was happy because Adam was very, very intelligent. Very intelligent. Before the fall, he was very intelligent. Every animal that Adam named, that was the name. If Adam said this animal is called a leopard, God didn't question. That's how very intelligent he was. And so God now brings a woman, and Adam appreciates without any question. It means that which God did was perfect. And so in verse 24 it says, for this cause shall a man leave his father and mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they two shall be one flesh. So it is a procedure. It is called the due process. Leave, cleave, and be one flesh, which means it is a false start to be cleaving when you have not left. It is a false start to be one flesh when you are not cleaving. So you leave, you cleave, and be one flesh. And it says, he shall be joined unto his wife. It didn't say wives. His wife, and they two shall be one flesh. Now, when you go to Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verses 9 to 12, we have a divine injunction or precedence for us to look at. Verses 9 to 12. It says, two are better than one because they have a good reward for their labor. So just imagine one person. But if there are two, they have a good reward for their labor. If they fall, the one will lift his fellow. But woe to him that is alone when he falleth, for he had not another to help him up. Verse 11. Again, if two lie together, then they have heat. But how can one be warm alone? This is consummation when they get married. And verse 12. And if one prevail against him, the two shall withstand him. And look at the very last part. And the threefold cord is not quickly broken. So if you get a rope or a strand of rope from a jute sack, for instance, and then you pull it, it can tear easily. When you get two of them and you pull, it may tear after a while. But it says a threefold cord is not quickly broken. When the strands are three, it helps the intertwining to be much more reinforced, and therefore it is difficult for one to tear them. Now this connotes the marriage relationship, which is a covenant between two partners or persons of the opposite sex, with God at the top. So it connotes a triangle. God at the top, the couple at the base. And so they individually worship God, get close to God, fellowship with God. And as they do that, and then as a couple, they also fellowship and worship God. As they do that, they get closer to the base of the triangle narrows. God, as they get closer to God through fellowship, the base of the triangle also narrows. It becomes narrower, and it makes them impregnable. So this is how God ordained it. So marriage is a triangle. A three-sided plane figure is a triangle, but it can transmogrify from being a triangle to a quadrilateral, which is a four-sided figure. It could be a trapezium or a kite, or a rectangle or square. All these are four-sided figures, plane figures. Then we have a polygon. You see, when it becomes a quadrilateral, it means that in-laws and parents have gone inside, and sometimes brothers and sisters-in-law are also inside, interfering